Of all the bands trying to make a comeback in 2019, Puddle of Mudd might be the most interesting. Headlining their own festival Mudfest and featuring a new lineup behind a sober Wes Scantlin, all the pieces are in place to try and prove doubters wrong and climb back up the ranks of good graces in rock. Welcome to Galvania, the sixth studio album from Wes Scantlin and company, is that attempt at a triumphant return. For those who have been following rocks for a while, I have not hidden my opinion about Puddle of Mudd or Wes Scantlin, but over the past few years he has completely sobered up and his reputation of bad behavior has ended. I wanted to give this muddy name a second chance and see if the new music holds up. Past reputation and history of music aside, a fresh start is always possible. Welcome to Galvania marks the first Puddle of Mudd album in almost 10 years. Produced by Cameron Webb, who has worked with several big names in the past, such as Disturbed and Motorhead, some great preemptive steps were put in place. Along with that, Wes Scantlin truly has high hopes for the album to reach many people. According to Scantlin, this album has been a long time coming. I'm just so happy to finally get it out there for my fans. I hope the new music inspires my fans to live their lives. I'm just trying to crawl under people's skin and help them through their life musically. Now that the preamble's out of the way, I can honestly say without any exaggeration or hyperbole that Welcome to Galvania is one of the worst albums I have heard so far in 2019. There's no polite way to say it. The highlighted single Uh-Oh, which has garnered more radio play than this album deserves, is more than enough to inform you of what to expect from the reborn Puddle of Mudd. Uh-Oh is not just the song title. It's the actual reaction I had while listening to this track all the way through. Terrible, immature lyric writing, stock drum work, another bad song from Puddle of Mudd about a bad relationship, and Wes Scantlin, he's as tone deaf as ever. To say it's monotonous and lazy is underselling the problems, but I assure you, this is one of the best songs on Welcome to Galvania. The opening track, You Don't Know, starts off with a good build, almost like a pro wrestler is about to make an entrance with a steady rhythm and thick riff, but then it's all wasted when the riffs are dropped so Scantlin can hazily groan out his vocals. That brings out a big problem throughout the runtime. The mixing is completely unlevel. The back end and the drumming is brought to the front and overpowers the recording to the point where Scantlin sounds like he's singing from the back of the room. This situation is repeated constantly through the majority of this 10-track album. The song Go to Hell is Scantlin's attempt to channel his inner Kurt Cobain, or at the very least try to appeal to the early 90s crowd. It's awful. His delivery is weak, and it's another song of him just whining about problems like in You Don't Know and Uh-Oh. The nasally stretched out note burns your hearing after a while. The song Diseased Almost has a more frantic and energized opening with the guitar work, but the mixing again is terrible and everything washes together. The guitar solo isn't bad, but the quick electric riff gets old and the lyrics on this one are miserable. There are a couple guitar hooks and quick melodies that prove someone was trying throughout this 10-track album. Also, this is not the worst album I've heard in 2019. That ends the list of positive things I can say about Welcome to Galvania. My Kind of Crazy is an attempt at a ballad and a terrible love song with static drum beats. I'm not convinced there was an actual bass player for this entire album recording. The writing gets worse with Time of Our Lives, which is an attempt at storytelling. Think Photograph by Nickelback levels of writing, but no build-up in the music and high school level drum work and more nasally moaning. The list of problems just goes on. The track Sunshine is filler even by this album standards, where the guitar riffs just become stock. Feeling the sunshine, as the song says, is not possible in this listening experience. Just Tell Me is another attempt at a slower acoustic ballad, which is a good change of pace, but it's another relationship song and it doesn't work here. Wes sounds terrible, nothing connects. Kiss It All Away is mixed so badly that it sounds like you were listening to a bad reception on an FM radio. Slide Away is the true album closer, and I can honestly say it sounds like Wes is trying a little more on this one. It's a decent fade out to an album because of that. The music is uninspired though and offers nothing worth listening to again. This was my attempt to listen to a band as a second chance and I regret it. The music is awful, the mixing is terrible, and Wes Scantlin sounds horrible. And now, a joke. Hey, did you hear Puddle of Mudd's coming out with a new album? Uh-oh! Oh, you already heard about it. Overall, Welcome to Galvania could have been a redemption album, but lacks replay value and once again shows that Puddle of Mudd does not have the talent that their past success alludes to. There's a nice guitar hook or two, and it's great that Wes Scantlin cleaned himself up, but good intentions do not automatically make an album worth hearing. Unless you have access to Excedrin, you should not dive into this puddle of post-grunge filth.